Hi, this is Takashino from Jazzland, Japan. It's been a long time since I shot the last video, but anyway, let's start. Today I just want to feature one series, jazz series, Reissue series, which I think is kind of mysterious series. I think once talked about this series in the past, but I just want to dig that series much deeper. The series is called Fantasy Custom LP Collection Series, which Victor Music Japan here in Japan teamed up with the Fantasy US to reissue many titles of, as Fantasy has enormous collection of the Prestige, Riverside, New Jazz, Jazzland, Swingville, Moodsville, and the rest, right? And in the 90s, as the Wave Japan did the same kind of reissue series called the Wave Jazz Classics series. They also teamed up with Fantasy US to reissue many titles, mainly minor titles on Prestige, Riverside, Jazzland, and a New Jazz. Yeah, that's what they did in the 90s, early 90s. But thereafter, I think in the mid 90s, Victor Music Japan, in conjunction with the Fantasy US, to reissue the many titles. I don't know how many titles. There is a little information available on that Fantasy Custom LP Collection series. I just will show you just some samples that I got recently, like this one. This one is Charles McPherson, the bebop revisited on the Prestige. Yeah, this is one of them, and the same Prestige. This is House Singer with Charlie Shavers stomping, blue stomping on Prestige. Yes, this is a kind of rare title, I guess. And what about the Riverside title, like Yusef Lateef? Yes, the Three Faces of Yusef Lateef. A great title on Riverside. And this one is a Swingville, Jimmy Hamilton cannot stop swinging on Swingville. So those are some of the titles that I got, and I've been getting these titles from time to time. And as you are a JLJ member, I think those Fantasy Custom LP Collection series. But as I said at the beginning, there is very little or nothing information available on the internet. Even to me, I know the Wave Jazz Classics series in the early 90s because I was a university student at that time, and I was living in Tokyo, and I used to go to the Wave building to collect my jazz collection, and I saw Wave Jazz Classics series, and I bought some of them. I remember that. But after that, I went to another country, and I was not here in Japan, so that's why I didn't know this Fantasy Custom LP Collection series, which Victor Music Japan teamed up with the Fantasy US to reissue many titles like this I showed you right now. And but there is funny thing that I just got this postcard in this title, Jimmy Hamilton Can't Stop Swinging on Swingville. Yeah, that I showed you. There is this postcard inside the sleeve, and this is the postcard that Victor Music Japan inserted at that time like a questionnaire, like a questionnaire postcard, fantasy custom LP questionnaire. And at the back of this postcard, they just thank the purchase of this LP, and where did you buy this LP, or how did you know this in the Fantasy Custom LP Collection Series, and if you have any title that you want them to reissue, like on Riverside, Moodsville, Prestige, New Jazz, yeah, please let me know. Let us know. Yeah, something like this. And this is very, very rare, among the many titles that they reissued at that time in the 90s. Not all the copies, had this kind of postcard inside the sleeve. Very few copies. I don't know what happened at that time, but very, very rare. So anyway, I got this postcard, and this postcard indicates that it's printed in English, saying that Fantasy Custom LP Collection, June 98. Yeah. So it clearly states that they were doing that, during the 98 as well. I thought, they started reissuing these, titles somewhere around, 97, 95 and up to 97 something. But, this postcard shows that, yeah, they were doing that in 1998 as well. I don't know how long that they, that they did, this Reissue series, Fantasy Custom LP Collection Series. But anyway, in between 1995, around that time, in the mid 90s up to the late 90s, yeah, they were reissuing, these titles on the Prestige, Jazzland, New Jazz, and the rest, right? And as I said in the video that I shot maybe in the last year, somewhere around last year, about Fantasy Custom LP Collection Series, the sound quality is really, really good, because of their cutting, the cutting sound quality of Fantasy US is very good. And yeah, all of these copies were pressed in the US, and the cutting was done by the Fantasy US, and the Victor Music Japan just imported them and distributed them here in Japan. So actually, this is not the, yeah, of course, Japan, Victor Music Japan involved, but the pressing, cutting was done in the US. So for those years, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years, they reissued many times. I don't know how many, but there are many, not only 50 or 70 or over 100, or maybe around 200 titles. I don't know, but most of them are really, really minor. But one thing I noticed, that all these Fantasy Custom LP Collection Series have some kind of similarities. I mean, the indication that, oh, this is the Fantasy Custom LP Collection Series, which is, if you look at the back of the sleeve, yes, like this, John Hamilton, back of the sleeve, at the bottom, it is printed, manufactured from the master owned by Fantasy Inc., Berkeley, California. This printing is there at the bottom of the sleeve. Yes, and if you look at the other titles I showed you, Yusef Latif, the same, Although the printing is very, very small, this one the same, yeah, manufactured from master owned by Fantasy. Yes. And yeah, this, Charles McPherson, Bebop Revisited, the same. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, at the back. So this is one indication that the particular copy is from the Fantasy Custom LP Collection series. And the other thing is that the same as the Web Jazz Classics series, if you look at the label, they don't use the OJC, yeah, or some other serial, but they use the original serial, like this, Charles McPherson, Prestige PR 7359, yeah. So those two indications are the the information that you need to look at, to identify that this copy is from the Fantasy Custom LP Collection series. And the other thing I noticed that if you compare the OJC series and this Fantasy Custom LP Collection series, there is one difference about the quality of the vinyl. The quality of the vinyl that OJC, the Fantasy US, used, and this Fantasy Custom LP Collection series, they used is different. First, the weight of the vinyl is different. The weight of this Fantasy Custom LP Collection series, the vinyl, is much heavier than the usual, ordinary OJC series. That's one thing. And some of the titles, which I don't have right now, but of the Custom LP Collection series, they use the 180 gram, heavy vinyl. I don't know why, they chose, some of the titles for 180 gram, heavy vinyl. And the quality of the vinyl itself is also the way I see it and touch it. I think it's different. They use the much higher quality of the vinyl itself. Yeah, those are the things I noticed, about the Fantasy Custom LP Collection series. So, in case you don't know this, Fantasy Custom LP Collection series, I think, it's better for you to dig. Yeah. And yeah, all of them are very good and minor, but some of the titles, you never seen before. Yeah, they're there with the Fantasy Custom LP Collection series. And not many jazz collectors, even here in Japan, and of course outside of Japan, know this Fantasy Custom LP Collection series by the Victor Music Japan and the Fantasy US. Yeah, that's it for today. I hope you like it. Anyway, it's a long video that I shoot this time, but I hope this information is useful and interesting to you. Thank you for watching today, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.